Timing. So we're live for the Power Chat series with Kristhian Rivas. Kristhian, how are you doing today?
Doing great, doing great. How about you?
Good. You are a regular on my show. It's because you win a lot. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do the post show for the Legend Cup, which it happens to be your coach, your instructors, tournament. So I'm sure you'll have good things to say. But let's start off with how did you do?
Um, Fortunately, I was able to win my division, and I won the overall at the end. So yeah, I was very, very happy that I was able to keep it home in my coach's tournament.
So speaking of home, it's Tony Hamsani's tournament. Now we were talking about a little bit of the background. It's his first American tournament, not his first tournament to put together. Talk to me about how it went.
Yeah, it's crazy. Because back when he used to live in Venezuela, um, he had one of the biggest tournaments in South American, the Battle of Venezuela. So I'm talking about like almost 2,000 competitors. He used to do it in like imagine something like the Amway Center or like a basketball stadium.
Yeah.
So he used to rent out one of those, and the bleachers will be full. We used to be like in the basketball court, so it was like a huge tournament. And I was always, one of my dreams was always, to win it as an adult. I was able to win it as a junior, but one of my dreams was always, to compete in the Battle of Venezuela and hopefully, win it. But how things go, life happens. Um, the Battle of Venezuela is no more, but this is his first tournament here in the United States. Creating a new legacy and stuff. So I was just very happy to show him and demonstrate that he's still to me he's still one of the top people in the martial arts. So I just wanted to keep it home, and I was just fighting out there, fighting hard just for him and for all the team.
Does that mean that maybe there was some international representation? Anyone from Venezuela, South America, or what was the competition like?
Yeah, no, competition was great. Being the first tournament, it was mostly Florida based,
Mhm.
but we did, which was really cool. Like things that in karate sometimes you can't make things up. I had to fight Ronald Zabala for the overall, and
Mhm.
it was crazy that Ronald at the beginning of his career he was with Legend, he was with us, so it was pretty cool. It was like a full circle moment. Well, he's not Team Legend anymore, but like he started with Mr. Tony, and I started with Mr. Tony as well. Both of us Venezuelans fighting for the grands. It was just super cool at the end.
I didn't know he was also Venezuelan too. I knew that his background came from Team Legend.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think he moved. I don't remember when. I want to say 2015, kind of, because I remember he moved almost at the same time as me, or a little bit later. But yeah, he's Venezuelan for sure. We always are hanging out, always talking. It's part of the crew.
Very cool. Uh, were there any of your students there as well that you got to watch fight?
Yes, yes. I have, well, both of our schools, both of the Legend schools were competing there as well, representing. But I was really happy to see, Tony Jr. also win grants, and some of my most of my students were competing there. Richard and Pedro, which is our kids that I really enjoy teaching and really enjoy watching grow up. Also, some of our juniors, Achilles and all of these guys, Connor, that trained with us, they were also representing, and it was just super cool to see them, keep on the tradition. Because when I remember when I was when they were setting up the tournament back in Venezuela, the Battle of Venezuela, I was super small. I was like 7, 8, 9, so I couldn't set up everything. The whole team Legend was setting up the whole tournament, putting down the mats, building the trophies, running the systems, all that. And at the end, everybody had to fight. That was like a rule that Mr. Tony had. Like all team Legend, all the school, all Tony Kempo had to fight. So it was pretty cool that in this tournament that tradition was kept alive, and all of our school fought. Like a good 80% of our school came and represented. So that was pretty cool to see.
That's one of the best things when you come from either a school or a network of schools that train together and also can go to regional tournaments and compete with that different environment. It's not, you can get serious on the mat, I'm sure, as you guys train seriously, but there's that different vibe at the tournament. So I'm assuming some of your students fought each other for either grands or other things like that.
Yeah. As their sensei, I hate to see it, but
Yeah.
I love it at the same time how they fight so hard and they know each other so much. It's like always like a chess match. I hate to see it, but like I like it sometimes because it's super cool at the same time.
Can you resist as a coach when you have two students facing off? Can you resist telling one to do one thing, the other to do anything? Or are you silent?
I try to stay silent. I try, but like when I see one of them get on top of the other, I tell the one, "Hey, come on, wake up. We got to do this." And then if he reacts to that, I'll tell the other one, "Don't let him do that now. Don't let him."
Mm-hmm.
So it's always like I always coach them both. I try to stay silent, but it's super hard.
That's good. It keeps the energy high, like it shows them on both sides what your expectations are. Now, you also coach, did you help judge? How was the staffing for the judging and the timing of the tournament this time?
Yeah, no, that was another thing that Team Legend was they excelled at. Like the judges were some of them were Team Legend. The scorekeepers were also some of our parents. They were helping out. They were so great at that. And so also some other schools, they helped us with the judging as well. But Mr. Tony had a set job for me coming to the tournament. He was like, "You're gonna focus on coaching and nothing else. Coaching and fighting. Like I don't want you to worry about judging. I don't want you to worry about scorekeeping, because since we had both of our schools competing, I had a lot of kids that I had to run and be coaching. So I was like a designated coach for this time. But the timing of the event, it was great. We had plenty of time. Sometimes in tournaments, I hate when they say, "Oh, the black belts are gonna start at 1," but then it really starts 2:30, and then you're all warm, and then but they let us know ahead of time, "Hey, start warming up. Hey, you're about to start. Hey, you're gonna be up." So that was pretty cool in this time around.
Oh, it's so maybe they weren't able to tell you a specific time, but they could give you a heads up as to what you needed.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That's
Mm.
interesting. Is that something that you as a competitor would prefer in future tournaments, or would you rather just be given a time? Like, what's your take on that?
um I would like a little bit of both. I would like for example, like, "Hey, you will fight after, like after, for example, in the afternoon," and
Yeah.
then there they can tell me, "Hey, it's taking a little bit longer. You got time," and then, "Hey, we start warming up." That would be pretty cool. I'd rather have that than be like, "Oh, you're gonna start at 3, but really 3 really means 4 or
Hmm.
4:30 or 5."
Yeah.
So for me, I'd rather just tell them, "Okay, it's about to start in 15 minutes, so you got to start warming up." So I like that better.
Yeah,
Personally.
that's for any tournament promoters or event promoters or runners. That's an interesting point, because if it is, everybody knows it's difficult to stay on time, no matter how big the tournament is, how small it is. But if you give reasonable notice to start warming up, like, "Hey, we're about 30 minutes out. Whatever you got to do to get ready,
Mm.
then do it." Now, so for this tournament, how I'm gathering there were a lot of Team Legend people or Legend students. What about other competition? And is that how did that go?
No, it was great. We had a good turnout, thankfully. A lot of schools from around here, Florida, like supported us, and they were here in the tournament.
Hmm.
So it wasn't just that Team Legend thing. It was a good, well-rounded competition. A lot of people from around here. I don't want to name specific schools because I know I'm gonna forget one and then I'm gonna get in trouble.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of help and support from the people, especially the Florida community.
That's great because the nice thing is there's so much talent, so many tournaments, honestly, a good concentration in that area. So you have formed a community to ensure if one succeeds, you'll all succeed going to each one and you get to compete a lot. Was this the last tournament for you of the year?
Yeah, yeah. That now I can finally focus on back to training.
Mm-hmm. Because you find yourself, there's a difference between training for a tournament and sometimes training to get better. Can you
Yeah.
talk about that?
Yes. So when throughout the season, there's really not a lot of time when we have more than a month or more than 3 weeks to just train without no tournaments. Usually is okay. First tournament of the year, it maybe it didn't go as we planned. Okay, back to we got 2 more weeks to fix what didn't go right, and then we go back to the tournament. And then it went okay. Okay, we got to keep on doing that. Next tournament went bad, back to the lab. So it's always adjusting, keeping doing the same things that's working,
Mm-hmm.
adjusting, you know. But this time, when it's the last tournament of the year, it's just time to you know build what we don't have. Build
Yeah, exactly.
cardio, build you know stretching what we don't have. So that's that way. For next year, we're definitely better.
Okay. And even though this was your last tournament of the year, you also ended with a bang in another way, which we'll touch on as our last topic. You got your first diamond ring. Tell me how that went.
Yeah, that was definitely a dream come true. Definitely. When I first moved to the United States and started learning the new culture and how everything works here, my two top tournaments that I always wanted to win was I gotta still gotta get me a Warrior Cup and a diamond ring.
Okay.
Got one of those down is definitely like a dream come true. Like I feel like um you know, I feel like I belong now. I feel like I'm here. I'm part of this. And but yeah, still gotta work. I gotta get me that Warrior Cup. Hopefully, this coming AKA Warrior Cup, I can get it done. But yeah, it was crazy. Definitely a dream come true. Fought some amazing people, and which was really cool about that. It was like when you're in the mat, yes, you're trying to win. You're trying to do what's best, and everybody's trying to get that ring. But after everything happened, after the whole tournament was done, my own contemporary people that I usually fight, they were like, man, great fight. And that was pretty cool. That people were like, hey, congratulations, you're part of history now. And I didn't expect that. For a competitor, you're always, I'm trying to compete against you. This is my rival, this and that. But to see people, acknowledge and people congratulate you, that was really, really humbling for sure.
What's so cool about you and why I enjoy our conversations and having you on this show is because you still have you're at a point in your career where I feel like you don't necessarily realize like how far or how high you've come. So it's refreshing that you're still so humble and you're still quite accomplished, but you have so much more you want to do. And on your bucket, I don't want to say bucket list because that's more like far outreach, but like on your goals is the Warrior Cup. What also is there?
Oh yeah, I now hopefully soon we're in the works with it. I want to start competing in Waco. Um
Mm,
Hopefully soon. I want to get me an Irish Open, Bristol Open, all of those. But that's more into the future as things work out.
yeah.
Um but yeah, that's definitely on my targets. But yeah, I also want to do. I would like to win the Pan Americans. That's always been like a. It was my first ever tournament in the
Oh, it
United.
was. Hmm.
Yeah, the first time I ever came, I was like 14. It came to the Pan American, and it was like crazy. I like back in Venezuela, we don't see, especially the forms. It impressed
Oh,
me so much. Like the forms, the
mm-hmm.
pins, the musical. I was like, whoa. So I was super impressed. So yeah, I wanna win that tournament. But yeah, that's in the future. Right now, I'm set on that Warrior Cup.
Yeah, and now like you said, you have time to identify what needs work. And I'm not gonna ask you necessarily what's on your list of things to do, basically, because I'm sure your competitors will be watching this. But what kind of how do you, last question, balance your training with Christmas and New Year's coming up and spending time with your family? Because I know your brother's there with you, your family.
Yeah, no, that's always a tricky thing. But Mr. Tony being Mr. Tony, an old school at heart, he's like, yeah, the school might be closed, but we're still training. Don't think so. Yeah, we might have off like on the 25th or in the first of January, but other than that, it's really no time off. It's just training, and yeah, maybe like the school for the kids is closed, but we still got to come here and train. We still so to balance it, yeah, like on the 25th of Christmas, I won't train as hard. Maybe like I'll get out at the I'll end up training a little bit earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Say that.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. As long as you're making time for family, and your brother's an instructor also at Mr. Tony's school, and I've interviewed him before too. Okay. Awesome. Well, now that you have some time, tournament's over. It is 8:19 in Florida, right? I have a time difference. You're at the karate school now. Are you done teaching for today, or class is over?
For today, yeah.
Okay, all right, great. So dedicated. Seems like I'm always interviewing you at the karate school.
Yeah, because it's just by the time we're both free, it just happens to be at the end of the class.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I saw those kids before the show coming in and out. I guess it's time for you to close up the school too. Kristhian, I enjoyed our conversation, and thank you so much for coming on the Power Chat series.
Alrighty, thank you.
Okay, everyone else, thanks for watching the Power Chat series, and catch us. I wonder, well, whenever the next show comes up, I don't know when the last tournament of the season is, but I will do the post show for that. Everyone, have a good night.